before I got onto this podcast and this recording today, I took my microphone box out because usually I dismantle it after every podcast and then I reassemble it every time we do the podcast because like I could probably leave it set up, but me, I'm just like, I just have like OCD where if I could break something down and put it away, I'd do that. So someone calls me before I get on here, right? And then I put the microphone stuff together, and I'll keep this short. And then I'm talking to this person, you actually know this person, but I'll have to tell you names. Otherwise I don't want to put names in the podcast and whatnot, but I'm sitting there with my headset on talking to the person that called me, and I kid you not, by the wall, right where I grabbed my microphone, was the biggest fucking spider I have ever seen inside of my living situations in my lifetime. The biggest. Holy cow. Like, it took me, well, I hung up after I saw that. I said, buddy, I gotta go. So I tell Sam, I'm like, Sam, please get in here. She's working and I get the LED little flashlight we have that's like you can put on a keychain. Bro, we got the trekking pole from the garage. I kid you not, like the thing was like and you know how big my hands are.
Yeah.
Like we flashed a light on it and I saw the shining eyes back. Like that's how big it was. And me, I know you listeners, maybe Roman, I don't like spiders. I think all of them should die, even though they probably help out our ecosystem a lot. But I got the trekking pole that we hike with. Dude, it took us like 5-10 minutes. I stabbed that thing to death because the fact that I would not be able to sleep tonight if that was still in my apartment. And then you know what I did? Because I didn't know if he was still alive or he or she was still alive or dead. I got the vacuum and I vacuumed him up. And then I went outside and released the tank. I said, release. And I just saw the body just flop right on the cement from the second floor. I said, nope, not today, Junior.
Oh my God, that's insane. What was it? Was it a tarantula or was it something different?
It had to be a big wolf. In my opinion, it looked like a wolf spider. It was pretty big. Yeah. It was a fat, like, I don't think tarantula, because I mean, my dad's had tarantulas growing up. So I've even seen like baby tarantulas. Definitely not a tarantula. Roman, before we start this, do you kill or try to escape the spider into the outside world? And I'm probably thinking you're going to answer the second one, but let me hear what you have to say.
Well, people will probably think that I'm doing like the nice or good thing, and I think I am. But usually, especially this time of year, I like catch and release. I catch and release them outside, and like Chicago was negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit the other day. So those poor suckers are dead, like dead to rights. As soon as I throw them outside, like, yeah, the countdown's on. So I don't know if I do the humane thing, to be quite honest with you, but I try to like.
You just don't see that part, which is actually probably the humane thing, right? It's like, so how do you catch them though? Do you put them in do you put like a cup underneath and then grab like a plate?
That's what I've done. So like if it's you know how like you definitely got these in Chicago. You get the creepy crawlers, like the feeds that have like crazy amount of feet. I'll usually like take like a glass and I'll just go catch them, and then I'll just take a piece of like paper or like cardstock or something, slip it underneath, and then I'll just take like the cup and I'm like do, and I'll just put it outside and I'll pull the cardboard and I'll like pick up the glass, and if they're in the glass racing around like crazy, I'll just like shake them out until they go out and then I run inside.
I don't know what it is, man. It freaks me out where like even in the garage, man, like my dad made me a hiking stick too, like out of an actual piece of tree. Dude, I'm just like blah blah blah. like I just all I do is I just whack and ask questions later. I'm like, nah.
That's awesome.
But honestly, it was such a weird angle by my desk, and my desk is like a brown. I think you've seen it. It's like a brownish gray, so it like blends well. So if I didn't. There was no angle to catch and release. I would have to like make this thing walk and then catch and release. And believe me, I might be a big guy in the gym, but I ain't about to let this guy run around my apartment. And this thing looked like it would kill Kobe or Pino, I swear. Like, it literally looked like it was at the size where if Kobe messed with this thing, it would probably just attack Kobe and he'd probably have to be put down. Like, this thing looks scary.
Yeah.
Even when I released like the vacuum thing, Sam goes, "Holy cow, that thing's huge." But anyways, Happy New Year's, guys. What's going on? We are back at it. Gainz Podcast. This is our third New Year, right? Together. And I don't know if you guys have not noticed, but we are actually on TikTok. If you fast forward the spider part and you're just getting into the 6-minute mark of this video or audio, we do have a TikTok now. I don't personally have a TikTok. Roman doesn't personally have a TikTok, but I thought to myself, I was like, wow, maybe we could get the Gainz Podcast to a lot more people if we have a TikTok. Now, will I use TikTok to look at TikToks? Probably not. Will I use this to just put videos out there? Roman and I will probably put videos out there? Probably. So if you guys haven't already, please go and give Gainz Podcast a follow. That's our username. It's kind of like our Instagram handle. It is our Instagram handle, Gainz Podcast. So far, we've posted 2 videos. Roman's going to get in on some action hopefully soon on TikTok. But please be cautious and please give us some time. You know, Roman, what Roman told me about Reels on Instagram, it took like such a learning curve. I don't mind learning things about technology, but Instagram and TikTok, like the Reels and TikToks, pretty much the same, so it's pretty nice. So
heck yeah, buddy.
Yeah, so Roman, how have you been, man? Are you ready for this year or what?
I think so. Yeah. I'm doing a little bit of a digital detox is what I'm calling it from Instagram. So I'm taking the month of January off of Instagram. I haven't been on so far, so we'll see.
What you need to do is do stuff like me is I try to do the same thing. All I do is like post and then I kill the app and like turn it off. Like
I was pretty good about that in December, but sometimes I'll find myself just kind of like aimlessly like scrolling, like, oh, that's another cool lifting video. Oh, that's another cool bodybuilding like routine. And then like 45 minutes gone. I'm like, damn it, no. So yeah. I'll be back in February. I'll send some like updates. Maybe I'll do some like racy photos or something like that.
Yeah. I told you and one of the friends today that in March I'm gonna show the before and after, but the after I'll get a spray tan real quick so I look nice and tan. It's just, you know what? It's like crazy. It's like, you know, people always tell me I look tan, but like if you add that extra layer of like fake tan, you look so much like more defined and stuff. So in March you'll see me post some photos. Maybe we'll get Roman to get some photos out there. We could post some progression because we don't really post progression photos, which we probably should. But you know what? It's like so. It's so like how do you say like it's like it's hard to tell like someone's progress unless you see them in person. I hate like online photos because like we never know how edited they are, the lighting. You know, like my before photos, I bet like I wasn't even trying to squeeze my belly in at all. Like, you know, it's like, you know, but maybe we'll do some of that and kind of see how the audience likes that. Cause that's kind of pretty nice. Because I've been cutting since what? I don't even remember, July, August of last year, maybe September.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore. I don't know, but I'm glad that you shared with about one of your goals about like the digital, like try to like quit that for like a whole month of January. Sam and I have been actually doing the same at nighttime before bed. So instead of watching TV before, like we were like, all right, let's go to bed. We are actually doing like 30 to 40 minutes of reading.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah, I just finished the book Deathbound by Kelly Starrett. Really good book.
Oh, sweet.
Really good book. I really liked it a lot. The last like 50, 60 pages, I kind of just didn't read through them because I have the Supple Leopard. A lot of the stuff is like mobility and like prescriptions. I already have like all his prescriptions in Supple Leopard, so I skipped over it. But really good book. It's like crazy. It's like crazy on the amount of him and Julie, that's his wife's name, are doing, especially with the schools. Like they're doing like they have a non-for-profit on helping schools get more standing desks for children. So we don't make our children impaired, like kind of like we were like sitting down all day.
Yeah, that's really cool. He's got a new he's like rebranded mobility wad, hasn't he? It's like
the Ready State.
Ready State. There you go. Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I don't even did they rebrand the website, or is it still mobilitywad.com?
It probably still brings there. I don't know. I meant to check in on it when I heard about it, but that was years back. I don't really follow Kelly Starrett all that much. I watch a video like one a year of his. I've kind of like found my like niche of people, Dr. Mike and like Renaissance
Squat University.
A little bit, but even I've like kind of moved away from watching
Dr. Aaron.
Yeah, Dr. Aaron Horschig.
Did you say horseshit?
Horschig. Yeah, so like I do like RP, Revive Stronger, 3DMJ, like, and then the Real Bodybuilding Podcast. That's probably like it. Fuad Abiyad's podcast. That's like in the health and fitness space. That's probably where I spend like 90% of my time.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, it's like crazy. Like the other day I listened to a Mark Bell's podcast, first time in like 4 years.
I'll check it out every couple of months. I'll like watch one of them. Lane Norton, I forgot to mention Lane Norton. I'll usually check in on him at least like a couple times a month or something like that.
Yeah, if you guys haven't watched the latest like Mark Bell's Powercast, he has the guy on that he eats raw meat and like raw eggs and raw milk pretty much. And when I mean raw meat, he doesn't cook any of the meat. Like he'll grab a ribeye steak from Whole Foods and then eat the ribeye right there.
Is that the Liver King guy, or is it somebody totally different?
No, it's totally different. This guy actually, he had like celiac acne. It's like, and like he was vegan for like 10 years, and none of this, and he felt like crap every day. He like still, his acne was like burning his face, and then he was pretty much saying like he started doing this raw diet where it's like pretty much, raw everything. And he's feeling a lot better and all this stuff. I don't know. I mean, he's only done it, I think, for like 40 or 50 days. So far, he says he feels pretty darn good. But this guy, I didn't even realize it. His like daily job is like making memes. And he's a founder of like, dude, he named off some of the ones that like I still follow to this day, like Sunny Side Up. Like it's like these meme pages, and he like sold them off to people, and like they have like millions of followers. Like I'm like, holy, like and Mark Bell didn't even know. He's like, dude, I didn't even know like you were like, like a meme creator. He goes, yeah, like that's pretty much what I did when I moved to California. Like I was just doing that stuff and like construction on the side, and then it became a full-time job. Like because he was an accountant, and it's just so crazy. It's so crazy when you start like tuning in and like you look at this guy like, what the hell? Like that's crazy.
I'll check it out. I'll put it like in the queue. What was I gonna say in regards to that? Shikes.
I keep looking down to see if there's another spider crawling by my feet. It's absolutely the worst.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. See. Okay, yeah. Is it this raw meat experiment guy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's sweet.
I forgot his Instagram handle.
He looks like the guy from Shrug Collective a little bit. What's his name? Ryan something.
Man, I haven't watched Shrug Collective in forever. I'm trying to think who you're talking about. Oh, well. Oh, well.
Here we go. Oh my goodness, it starts playing the video. That's ridiculous. I don't want it to do that. I remember what I was going to say. Michaela Peterson is one of the first people that like I listened to like a long form podcast with Joe Rogan talk about like her experience with the carnivore diet. And her dad, Jordan Peterson, is like has been on carnivore for like years now, I think.
I've heard the name Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
But keep going.
Yeah, they've done carnivore for years. And Michaela's his daughter. She has like her own like very popular podcast now too. And she pretty much like went on Joe Rogan. She talked about how she was like clinically depressed. She had like all these like crazy like bone spurs, and like she had like all these crazy like weird orthopedic issues.
Holy cow.
She would eat certain foods, and she attributes like the consumption of certain foods, like one of them was like broccoli or spinach, to like causing like brief like episodes of psychosis. Like it's so crazy to listen to it. And I think like many people have kind of like poo-pooed it. Not to say that like I but like at least her like anecdotal stories are like something to like look into for sure. And like her dad too has like some pretty like he's had some like pretty like horrible bouts with like addiction around like benzodiazepine and all these different things. And like he said, and like, you know, he's a clinical psychologist, right? You'd be like, oh yeah, this guy like knows his stuff. But like from a diet perspective, like nothing really helped until he got into like the carnivore diet. And he's like, I don't like doing it. He's like, I don't really enjoy it, but he's like, it's the only thing that I can sustain my lifestyle, which is kind of crazy to think about. So it's like a really weird niche diet, but I think very similar to like how keto can be like quite literally life-changing to somebody that has like I had a student, I worked at a coeducational boarding school for students with special needs, and I had a student that had epilepsy, and he would have these like horrible, like what are called grand mal seizures, where he would just like fall on the ground, like shaking all over the place, like would hurt himself because like, you know, he could fall and seize at any time. You know, he'd be walking to class and just, you know, slip on ice and fall, whatever. He started eating a keto diet that his mom put together for him. It was insane. Like she wrote this like list for him. He would have like 3 meals a day and like 2 snacks is pretty much what it'd be. He could have anywhere between like 4 and like 7 grams of carbs per meal. It was insane. And like, remember, this is a boarding school for students with special needs. So, you know, this was a student that like had intellectual disabilities. So for her to come up with this, like this system, this like incredibly intelligent like keto system for son, and to like help him like teach it and create like give him like different foods that he would like, you know, like adhere to and like stay like with the diet, was a life changer. He went like months and months and months and months without having a seizure, where he would have seizures like multiple times every day. So like that's just like one like anecdote, but I've heard like for like thousands and thousands of people, like the keto diet has been like life changing for people that have epilepsy. So it's like, my point is that there's like weird niche like health related reasons to adopt certain like niche diets.
So is epilepsy too where like the person would fall asleep too instead of just seizures, or no?
I don't think fall asleep, but what'll happen sometimes.
Or are they having like a mini seizure? Is that?
Yeah. So sometimes people might like mistake it for sleep, but somebody might like close their eyes, or they might just like look blankly, like out into the distance, and you'll say like, oh, hey, Antoine, you're still there. And like, you like don't register it. And then like you kind of come to, and you're usually like kind of like scared, confused, and you don't know what happened during that like X amount of time that you were kind of like out. Because it's like your brain like kind of freaking out, and like electrical impulses sort of like jumping all over the place inside your brain.
Yeah, we had a kid at our junior high and high school that had that. He was a very smart kid too. I don't know if he ever tried keto. But then again, at that time in my life, I ate pizza every Friday. I Dude, I'd smash a whole thing of Oreos and then go work out and play basketball for like 8 hours. So again, I probably didn't even know what the word keto meant. I'd be like, keto? Is that like some kind of like new snack or something? Like, what's going on? Keto puffs? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But dude, also real quickly, this is episode 100, Roman. Way to start the year. Yeah.
Really cool.
I just looked at it as we were. I think I don't know what you're. I don't know. It was like 2 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, whatever it was. I looked at my phone and I'm like, holy cow. But anyways, Roman, what the heck are we talking about today? Since we have like 10 minutes left or 9 minutes left.
I know. Advanced full body training. This is what you've all been waiting for. The pinnacle of training. Now it's just a different training modality if you want to give it a go. You, Antoine, are running advanced full body training right now. Huh?
I am.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your programming, how you set it up, how you're planning recovery, how you are making sure that there's not interference in different muscle groups?
Look at all that. Look at all these notes.
Damn, that's actually pretty impressive, buddy. Heck yeah.
I like doing notes on the iPad because you get like a 13-inch screen instead of we both have iPhone minis, so it's like having a laptop, so it's like really nice. But
on the Izzle.
Yeah, it's nice. iPads are nice. I feel like I should use it more often than just YouTube, but I mean, who are you gonna tell me? I bought mine for $10, so I seriously did. So that's not a joke. But I can't tell you about the details of this podcast. Ask me at a personal level. But so all of last year, as you guys can witness and listen to or watch from last year, battling some injuries. I had some shoulder issues or back issues. One of the two, it was like rear delt back issues, which pretty much didn't let me really press that much or pull that much. I wasn't really pressing and pulling that much. And then I hit some weird issue with my what was it, my lower back or my glute? I think it's my glute. It's probably my back to my glute. And then, so I stopped squatting for a while, didn't really deadlift that much. And I'm starting to get into the, the bigger movements. Also, I really haven't been benching all too much lately. And this year, I don't know if I'll be benching a lot still. I think a better goal for me, long story short, is I kind of want to hit those 150-pound dumbbells in my gym, like 8 or more reps in each arm. But that's like something because I don't really want to bench this year. Maybe I will. Don't hold me to that because, I said I didn't want to squat for a while, and then I was squatting like the other day. So if you know Roman and I, obviously listen to this podcast, me particular, ever since my bodybuilding days or my, I guess, retirement bodybuilding days, since I haven't competed since 2016, it'll be like the 6-year mark this year. I haven't really been into like the bro splits anymore or like the body split days. I think when Roman wrote my training a long time ago, like maybe 2 years ago, I think that's when I started, maybe full body or upper lower, one of the two. And I just like the style of that training pretty much lately. I just love how like I could do a set of flat dumbbell press for my chest, and then afterwards I can maybe do like lateral raises or rear delt flies, or maybe a set of leg extensions. Because what I've been noticing, and we talked about in our hypertrophy episode, if you guys haven't watched that or listened to that one, is listening to more Mike Israetel and like RP. If you're more intermittent and advanced like lifter, you want to go to a little bit of higher RPE. And when I did those like splits, when I would do like buys and back, if I did chest and tries, what I would do is I do a flat dumbbell press, right? I do, back in the day when I was doing 100 pounds for like 8 reps, let's just say that, I would do 8 reps and then I'd stop there. I wouldn't try for the 9th one. I would never try for the 10th one. Whereas today, I'm trying for that 9th one. I'm trying for the 10th one, because what I realized with like hypertrophy movements and me trying to build like bigger muscles is I need to go that extra mile, especially like for some of the movements like biceps, like triceps, like some of the muscles that I could keep breaking down and recover faster than like my back, my chest, my low back, those muscles that might take like 2 to 3 days. So all that being said, at the new year, I was talking to my wife, Sam, and I think I told Roman too, like, I want to do something else. I want to start pressing more. Last year, I neglected a lot of back movements. I neglected a lot of shoulder movements, a lot of chest movements. And then like, I wanted to do more like overall, like core workouts, AKA like farmer carries, like stuff like that, where it's like, functional fitness instead of like, bodybuilding fitness. Cause, I've always been bodybuilder at heart, but like, I want to be strong too. So with all that being said, doing a lot of research on like what I currently did with the upper lower. I was doing upper lower 4 days a week. And then now I'm going to be doing full body 5 days a week. And pretty much, as Roman and I would tell you, we do like general concepts for our days. And I don't want to run through all the days and like what I do, like the whole lifts, because maybe I want Roman to talk real quick, because I don't want to talk too much. I feel like I've already talked so much already. But like most of the times, Roman and I will go into a day. So if it's 5 days a week, all those days are going to have like a goal. And that's pretty much like, if you're like intermittent or advanced, you kind of want to, you want to make sure those goals are there always, because you want to make sure like you have that focus and that drive. So like for an example, like I won't even tell you what days I work out on, because work out on the days you want to work out on the time you have. Like it's like so simple to the fact that I don't even put those out there anymore. But like day 1 is like an overhead press focus. Day 2 is a deadlift focus. Day 3 is like accessories. Day 4 is like squat focus. And then day 5 is pull focus. And you'll see why and then real quickly, you see I put a lot of pulling methods towards like after the days I do deadlifting and squat, because what I've realized for advanced full body is your lower back and your pull days, and I learned this from like Mendelson and Dr. Mike, is if you did a lot of pulling before your squat or deadlift, depends on what exercises you use, you could kind of ruin your low back. And when you get into those sessions, your low back could be the limiting factor, or like your back in general. Because think about squatting and deadlifting, you're holding a lot of weight on your back itself, and your back is such a large muscle. So what I've learned is putting those pulling movements away from those days. So most of the days, like if I do pull, it's going to be after I do deadlifts. Or if I'm pulling, it's going to be the day after squats or after I'm doing squats. And then like lastly, what I want to say, because we're coming up on time and I want Roman to talk, is what I'm doing is about 2 to 3 leg exercises, and then like 3 to 4 upper exercises, because the upper body has so much more body parts and muscle groups, especially if you want to keep hypertrophy in the picture. And then the only other focus I have, I didn't really change anything for legs, because I think I do a lot of good volume, is I added more pulling for my back, more rear delt and shoulder movements, and then chest movements, because like I said, I couldn't do a lot of that last year. And then the other thing is I added like farmer carries and then lunges in my weeks. So like I want to get into like more of the fundamental full body strength where, I want to be able to farmer carry like 200 pounds at it while I'm walking for 30 seconds. So that's like another big goal of mine, because I don't really, I'm not really in the focus of like squat, bench, and deadlift right now. I just want to get strong, and then like I know this stuff will get me stronger than I am. And then I changed squatting to upper or higher bar than lower bar, which Roman and I will FaceTime. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, Roman. I'm done.
Buddy, I really like that. That's really cool. I love how that, like, as you and I both are like continuing to develop like our knowledge and our like experience, like in and outside of the gym, we have like different ways that will like structure, program, and periodize our training. It's really cool. I really like it a lot.
Yeah, and this is what I've noticed for myself. So like, I know Roman trains a little bit different. I know like everyone else trains a little bit different, but like I don't know, it just and like, next year I might go back to like body part splits, you never know. It's like it's just weird, which I don't know. It's weird with like the power movements where like I try to look at myself as more like a strong man, I guess, or like a power builder. Like, it's like I don't really focus on like, I don't know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally does. Yeah. So like, I guess I'll try and be quick with this, but like the way that I kind of thought about setting up this next like block of training, like the next like, 10 to 12, 10 to 14 weeks, is I wanted to focus on bumping up my volume of calves to 3 times a week, bumping up my volume of biceps 3 times a week, and bumping up my volume of hamstrings 3 times a week. So in a way, I'm doing some sort of full body training, but other major groups like quads twice, chest is kind of like 1.5, which is just kind of how like the cookie crumbles. So I'll pretty much be on like maintenance to like minimum effective volume. Shoulders are on kind of like twice a week. Triceps are kind of like once a week, but I have pressing on 2 different days, so that still kind of hits triceps. But I only have one dedicated tricep movement for 3 sets a week. So that'll be an interesting experiment.
Yeah, but how much stuff is effectively training triceps now?
Yeah, because I do overhead pressing. I do both. I'm trying out Smith overhead pressing, which I actually really like. And then,
is it in front of the face?
Yeah, in front of the face.
Yeah, I've always seen some crazy bodybuilders that did it behind the like head. It's like, holy hell! But good for them.
Yeah. Maybe someday I'll develop that. I feel like that hits more of like the lateral delt and like the rear delt, just from like a stabilization standpoint. I think the front delt is still the prime mover, but what else? Abs. I'm finally doing abs 4 times a week. So I'm trying to focus on this gut line. Yeah.
For core for fat reduction areas, right?
I actually, you know what? I changed my opinion on that. I actually think that spot reduction is possible, but I think like so small that it's like you almost can't tell unless you're like competition ready. But I think like if we're talking about competition ready, I think that could be like the difference maker of like 0.5% to 1%, because I read an article just a couple of years back, which kind of like changed my opinions on this. So your body's going to be moving around and partitioning energy based off of the needs of like the different musculature. So if you're like doing a bicep curl, then your liver might be like metabolizing different type of like substrates so that it can like send different substrates such as like glucose, whatever is in like your blood at the time, like drawing from your blood sugar, to be able to like perform those activities. But the body's going to be most readily pulling from the local source first before it goes systemic, right? So it has to have these systemic processes, but it's going to be pulling locally as well. So you can create like somewhat of a drying out effect a little bit. So there's like a transient effect, but I think that there's also like a long-term systemic effect in that when you're doing like a crunch, for example, part of the Krebs cycle, I believe it has to like pull in triglycerides. So I could be wrong, listeners, though. But one of like the energy cycles is the consumption of triglycerides and like other like, fatty tissue. So if that is the case, your body is like logically going to be drawing most readily from the local source. So I think in that instance, spot reduction is possible. It's not like what people think it is. So you kind of have to get that out of your head. I think it's so nominal that I don't think the average human could like see it. I think you'd have to be like an incredibly like advanced trained bodybuilding coach to be able to see it, like trained like at the highest level.
You'd have to be like Charles Glass.
Exactly.
And it'd be like what you said, like probably like 0.5%.
Yeah, it's teeny tiny. Like if you're not hitting like the basics, like hitting like your macro targets or even just like protein, if you're like going like relatively close towards failure, allowing for recovery, eating enough to allow for growth, sleeping, keeping stress down. Like if you're not doing those things, then like it's like throwing out the baby with the bathwater, you know?
Well, if you remember from like pumping iron, it's kind of like spot pumping. So the reverse, instead of spot reduction, it's like spot pumping, right? It's like, well, if I work this, Lou goes like, I need to do a couple more calls so my arms are a little bit bigger before I get on the stage. He's like, come on, Dad, more oil.
No, that's absolutely a phenomenon. So that is intracellular. Like I think what ends up happening is the extracellular matrix. It forces what's in that matrix intracellularly, which does cause expansion of the muscle. That's like so-called like sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. So that is what we're seeing when we're like, for example, like when I only had time to do bench this morning when I went to the gym. I'll go after we finish the podcast, but I'll take off my shirt and like, chest is like somewhat pumped after I do like, warm-up sets of push-ups and like some tricep warm-ups, whatever. But then I'll get a couple of sets of bench in and like the chest is visibly larger, right? What the hell is going on? Well, you have like the extracellular matrix and you also have like different fluids, which are, floating around your body, like throughout your veins, etc., which are going to be like literally pumping up the muscles, like adding more blood, adding more of that extracellular matrix intracellularly. So it does expand the muscle fibers. So they do actually appear and they are larger for a short period of time. So that's the so-called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which I believe also most likely has an effect on what's it called?
Spot reduction?
No. Fuck.
Well, to your point, to all your points right there. That's why people are like, man, Antoine, you're not that big for someone that lifts all the time. And then they see me in the gym with the stringer on after I warmed up, and they're like, what the hell happened to you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's because I'm natural first off, and I'm not walking around it's not like I do like 100 push-ups before like I hang out with you and my chest is like completely solid. Like, no, it's not going to be like that 24/7.
It's the pump. Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of it. It's M something hypertrophy.
Yeah. Speaking of the pump, dude, I'm getting really granular when it comes to like my chest and shoulder and arms, man. It's
awesome.
I wish I had leg veins. I wish I was lean enough to ever have leg veins, but I can't get leg veins unless I'm like 5% or less. That's like, it's like insane. It's crazy. But last thing I want to say about the advanced full body, since it's already at 39 minutes and who the hell cares, is what Roman was saying before all this, like the spot reduction and like the pump and all this. To someone like us, I don't know if Roman has this problem, but like someone like me, when it comes to like programming, all those variables always, mess me up. So like Roma was saying, like he's only doing one thing of chest, but he's doing like two times for shoulders a week, where it could affect his chest. Like that's where I wish like bodybuilding and like power movements were a little bit more, numbered standstill, because I'm all about the numbers. But then when you look at like, well, I'm doing a deadlift, which could count towards my sets towards hamstrings. Could it count towards my traps? Like, it's like that's like the one thing I've always hated about programming, and I wish it was easier for me. But if you're having those thoughts, don't worry. People like us have it all the time because we've been working out for so long. And sometimes when we do like overhead press, we know it's working out our tricep, but like, is that a direct tricep work or whatnot or what? It's like, but it's all in the game plan.
Yeah, I would say it's probably best to tend or err on the side of caution. Myofibrillar hypertrophy was what I was thinking of, by the way. M hypertrophy. Oh my God, so funny. But so what I'd say is another thing that I've done recently, which has definitely helped from a recovery standpoint, is I've actually tended to RPE. So it's not like, yeah, that was an RPE 7, and I'm like, God, like dying under the bar to get up the last rep. It's like, no, dude, that was freaking RPE 10. Like, just put and just like freaking lower the weight or lower the rep count next time. So I've actually like tended to RPE recently, so that helps from a recovery standpoint. For like the big movements like bench, deadlift, and squats in particular, that's where you might want to be on that RPE 6 to 7 range. So it's okay if you end up doing like an AMRAP set, but if you do that, like I'd pretty much call it there, and then you have something to go based off of. So let's say you're pretty strong with deadlift, you did 405 by 8, and that 9th rep you just couldn't get up. You say, okay, so that's RPE 10 for me. Now when you're building out that program, I would start like RPE 6 to 7, like where you're going. So you're gonna do like 405 by 4 for deadlift for your top set, and then you're just gonna work down from there. Maybe 365 by 8, and then like 315 by 8 or something like that. Or you work up however you want to do it. That's how I'd set it up. And if you do it that way, what RPE will allow you to do is auto-regulate your recovery, and you'll find that you're not having that like, I just feel like my back is trashed and I want to work on my back, like my spinal erectors, for example, but I can't even do that with like, let's say a weighted hyperextension, because deadlifts just like trash me so much. I think if you like actually tend to RPE, you like be truthful and honest to it. Like I've been lifting for like decades now, and I'll do certain things. I'm like, I think it's this, but maybe it's this or this. Like, that's okay. It's a skill that you have to develop. And I think like from a recovery standpoint, actually going by and abiding by RPE could help you with your recovery.
Let's get it, guys. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Episode 100, probably our longest episode to come. So thanks for tuning in. We are now on TikTok now. So for all you 5-year-olds that go on TikTok all day, make sure to follow us. Maybe by the time you're a teenager, you'll start lifting and you'll understand what Gainz Podcast is. But we're at all audio and video platforms. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.